CTV News. An international trauma expert is in Christchurch hosting a 3-day workshop which ends tomorrow on how to self-manage trauma and stress.
David Berceli has been to some of the most distressed towns in the world. Now he's here in Christchurch. He travels around working with large populations of traumatised people who have experienced natural disasters, war and violence to help them recognise how to deal with trauma, stress and anxiety. His techniques are proven to work and his expertise is invaluable, and more than 50 Cantabrians are taking advantage of him.
So I went to Norway and worked with the children that were in the island that were for the shooting. I'm going to Japan to work with the earthquake survivors there, Chile, all these places where natural disasters are occurring.
Places that may not have access to therapists or enough to handle the demand. So self-help seemed the way to make a difference, prompting him to travel and teach his techniques. The response he's had from Christchurch has been a mixed one, with some coming for themselves, others to learn the techniques to pass on to clients and use in their practices. But among the range from construction workers to business professionals, the health workers aren't the only ones there to pass the techniques on. It's those who deal with trauma every day.
We have police, oftentimes firemen will attend, emergency medical team members will attend, and that's because it's promoting them to be able to learn how to help themselves with this process and not having to keep going to therapy or counseling every time they go through an incident.
The workshops coincide with the last week of Red Zone bus tours and walks into Cathedral Square.
The Red Zone bus tours are like any other modalities that we use around the world, because when I was recently in Norway, they actually took the children back onto the island where the shooting was. The difficulty with that is not everybody heals with the same process and at the same time. So for some people, this could have been tremendously therapeutic and exactly what they needed to do to bring closure, and for other people, it might have been triggering for them.
Sarah CEO Roger Sutton says that diversity has been the case. While most people have found it cathartic and therapeutic, others have found it very distressing. However, the workshop is not just for those who are going through those reactions to February's traumatic event. It's relevant to anyone experiencing stress.
We all experience things in our lives, whether it's divorce or death or a car accident or a flood in your house. It could be anything that's overwhelming to your body.
Ms Combs says since the workshops were brought to New Zealand in May, she's noticed the most common and most obvious effect in almost every case. People are calming down.
The most common response is the immediate calming down. I mean, when you have a mass trauma like the earthquake, especially after a period of time, that level of charge builds up in the community and you see an increase in domestic violence, increase in drinking, not sleeping, irritability, all those things.
She says rather than paying a therapist time and time again, the workshops teach people to self-manage their stress and trauma, which in turn is empowering.